Gary Vaynerchuk said 400 trillion to one is your chance to have a life. So this is the main reason why everybody should strive to creating their best life ever. It's so unlikely that we have one. And once we are alive, of course, everybody should strive to create happiness. And part of happiness, in my opinion, is financial freedom. And financial freedom is the topic that resonated with me when I saw this picture from Binance, in which they show the mesmerizing return since the foundation of Bitcoin. It's not 400 trillion to one, it's 4,390,000% increase in price. Can you imagine that you invested $10,000 when Bitcoin was $1 or below? How much would that be right now? $10,000 would have bought 10,000 Bitcoin. And when you look up the Bitcoin price, you easily get the answer what value this would be today. So isn't it tempting to throw your money right into Bitcoin and expecting in the next 10 years another 4 million% return? I believe it's highly unlikely. The big question at this point is, how high can Bitcoin go? And to answer this question, we should probably ask the best research team in the world. And in my opinion, it's the Ark Invest Team. Every year, they publish their big ideas report in which they analyze the big tech trends in the world and how they will impact society in the next 10 years. And part of the last report was dedicated to Bitcoin. What price target did Cathie Wood's team come up with? Long story short, they believe that Bitcoin can be worth $1.36 million by 2030. The big question at this point is, what forces are driving this uptake in value? Today, Bitcoin has a value of $44,000 per Bitcoin. When you buy one Bitcoin today, Cathie Wood thinks it will be 1.36 million in the coming years. How did they come to this price target, which basically is more than a 25x? It's about a 25 to 30x, depending on the Bitcoin price in the next 8 to 10 years. Wouldn't that be nice? I think it would be. How did they come to this result? In the opinion of the Ark Fund's research team, there are several driving forces behind the Bitcoin price. The first one is the remittance network. Everybody who works abroad wants to send sometimes money back to their family to support them so that they can pay rent and buy groceries. And currently they are doing this via expensive remittance networks. Switching to Bitcoin has the advantage that the transactions simply become cheaper. The second force is Bitcoin can become the currency of emerging markets. Every country that was not successful in establishing a stable currency and a banking system simply needs to switch to Bitcoin and solves this problem. The third use case is an economic settlement network, which in my opinion is highly likely and beneficial. Currently, settlements are done with credit cards, Visa, MasterCard. There was also this Maestro network here in Europe and many other networks. It's a diversified market that is working together on old technology. Technology is slow. They don't have many transactions. And part of the settlement network can easily switch to Bitcoin. Why is that of value? It's really challenging to manipulate Bitcoin. Nobody owns the network. It's highly secure. In my opinion, it's as secure as bank transfers, but they are quicker and they are cheaper. When you just think about the high expenses of billion-dollar transactions. So especially for high-value transaction, Bitcoin is an alternative. Nation-state treasury. Nations make money with taxes, and they all have a similar problem like companies. They need to do something with capital they don't need currently to maintain their countries. So where do they invest at this point in time? It's bonds, it's equity, and it's gold. Why not diversify with Bitcoin? I mean, it's risk mitigation. Ray Dalio recommends that. And one part of the equation that increases the Bitcoin price is that definitely a few governments will switch to Bitcoin. Looking at the Treasury side, there are already countries owning Bitcoin. It's Bulgaria, it's Ukraine, it's El Salvador, Finland, and Georgia. And I believe many governments will follow. Speaking about governments, the next use case for Bitcoin that will have an impact on the price is Bitcoin is a seizure-resistant asset. These days, the conflict in Ukraine is raging. Many people have to leave the country. Russian oligarchs experience that the European governments are shutting down their property and confiscating their property. Also, on the other hand, I think in Russia, something similar is going on with European countries. Bitcoin gives, for the first time, the possibility that people can carry their entire net worth with them, all their possessings in a hardware wallet, which cannot be manipulated, cannot be changed. And with all the money stored in a wallet, they can begin a new life everywhere in the world. The next driving force, we spoke about governments, are institutions, pension funds, other funds, everybody who needs to invest money or collects money to invest money has Bitcoin as a means for diversification, and this will also impact the price on the long run. The next one is corporate treasury, same like institutional funds, same like governments. Every company like Apple with sometimes 200 billion cash reserves needs to do something with the money to hedge against inflation, and Bitcoin is also here an alternative. The next use case, it's close to seizure-resistant assets, digital gold. Private people, high net worth individuals have the same problems like government, funds, and organizations. Everybody who created wealth for themselves needs to do something with their capital, and Bitcoin also serves as means of diversification and, like Michael Saylor says, as a store of value. These are the economic forces that sum up and result, according to the Ark Investment Team, in a Bitcoin price of $1.36 million per Bitcoin. What the future will hold, we will know in 10 years. And I'm curious to find out. In any case, I believe it's a smart decision, and every company, every high net worth individual, everyone who has savings and currently is complaining about the high inflation rate should consider converting at least a little bit of the savings into Bitcoin. What can happen? Even when Bitcoin goes back to zero, only a small portion is lost. But also when I look at the inflation rates that we see today, in 10 years, if these inflation rates continue to be part of our society, everybody will lose half the capital anyways. So take a little risk, diversify your cash reserves, and Bitcoin and some other cryptocurrencies are probably a good choice. This is no investment advice. Do your own research and enjoy your day.